Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Tuesday. It's July 9th, 2024. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic week so far and that things are going your way. Today was extremely hot here for us. And I also had a lot of things going on in the house by way of the maintenance crew, so it kind of forced my hand to pause to do a video. So I'm doing this much later than what I typically do, which means it may post much later than when I typically post. But the upside for me is that there's a pretty decent breeze coming through this window every now and again. So I'm actually grateful for the delay. I hope you are weathering the heat wave appropriately. Staying cool on the inside and the out. But let's see what we got going on today. Ooh, temperance. Talk about keeping it cool. Ooh. Just as maybe I spoke too soon, I'm a little warm. Come on, breeze, come through. It was perfect when I was shuffling. Yes, temperance. We got temperance first, but somebody rejecting temperance. So temperance is self-control, it's balance, it's harmony, it's peace, patience, self-control in the way of moderation, more or less, but also on a very high vibration, it's alchemy, bringing spirit into matter. Emphasis on the spirit, unlike the magician card, which is more focused on physical material and maybe alchemizing or transforming what you may have on hand into something else or something more. It's what temperance is literally almost like making something out of nothing, or bringing spirit into matter, or making spirit into matter. There's so much I could say about the temperance card. That's also Sagittarius energy, so I have a particular affinity for that card. It's said to be Archangel Michael. Yeah, so we'll leave it at that. But anyway, the Four of Cups is someone that's not necessarily, we're gonna keep the temperance up high if we might, because oftentimes temperance is in a frequency all its own. But we got the Four of Cups here, which is like someone, I may not even keep these energies on the board. There's a lot going on. Let's see. We got someone that is either feeling rejected or is rejecting an opportunity. Maybe even rejecting their own intuition or their intuitive nature. Could be messages or opportunities in the spirit that would allow or call for balance. And that's what it is. Someone resisting that urge for, or urgence for, self-control, patience. It's like it's giving somebody didn't want to wait. So they rejected the gradual gratification for something more immediate with the Three of Cups here. And what could also sometimes be, when you're talking about temperance, patience is one of the hardest things to condition a human being to have, So if you consider the idea of not really having a guarantee for the return on your patience, again, spirit into matter, sometimes you don't even really know holistically what you're being tempered for, what you're waiting for, what you are balancing your energies for, what you're believing for in this material sense. Like you may have your idea or ideal of what you would like for it to be, but you don't necessarily have a guarantee. You don't have a certified guarantee of what it absolutely will be in the physical form. So, it could be literally the matter of prayer and proclamation for the manifestation of an ideal versus seizing the day and the moment to have the immediate gratification or satisfaction in an instant. And, in a nutshell, that's a lot of what we are faced with as human beings, particularly when we're being called to prioritize our spiritual affluence over our physical one, or at least to be balanced in the two. A lot of times that scale is tipped more in the favor of the physical because that's the thing that we can relate to most immediately. So anyway, Four of Cups, but it seems to me just generally speaking, a lot of times what it leads to is a very dissatisfied experience with not only what results you have achieved or acquired on this frequency here of choice, but also perhaps even what you may have had to do for that immediate gratification or for that sensational satisfaction. Sometimes the means don't necessarily justify the ends. And here it is with the Knight of Wands. I didn't even see that back there. Definitely the poster child for lust and not to come down so hard on the Knight of Wands, but generally speaking, it's certainly the more carnal expression of the court, meaning the king, the page, the queen. The Knight of Wands certainly is prone to more impulsive reactions and responses, even proaction, to really see what they want and be incited to go after it, to be enticed or aroused to pursue it, sometimes with little regard for the cost or the consequence, but sheerly just on passion alone. But the question always with the Knight of Wands is just how pure is that passion? Because the Knight of Wands of all the knights is the one that is not most reliable or dependable in his efforts and advances. First and foremost, his intention or motivation for advancing in the first place, and then the longevity or dependability of his commitment to whatever it is once he even gets it, So it's like, it's, kind of like practically, yes, thank you, Breeze. Practically speaking, this is like somebody rejecting love for a good time. With the Three of Cups, that's like the three ladies toasting, partying, for immediate celebration and satisfaction. Not really finding very much, pleasure in that in the long run, or maybe even in the short run, but whatever it is, the outcome is not as much fun as the experience, you know, but being driven by this energy here to go after what arouses the senses. And I don't know, this Eight of Wands, Eight of Swords, this is either it's more of a feminine energy here. Yeah, and it's still like these cards are really low vibe for me. I mean, even the Knight of Wands, and in the best case scenario, it's just hella ambition, drive, confidence with no inhibition, which, you know, is not a bad thing to have depending on what it's connected to. But raw, you know, immature, untempered, you know what I mean? Like imbalanced energy like that is what can ultimately lead you into some situations that are less than favorable, or leave situations in less than a favorable what's the right word? Like leave things undone, you know what I mean? Or like, what's that with the Eight of Swords? Like to leave someone, it's disempowerment. That's how I've been seeing the Eight of Swords lately. It's like even spiritual jail. So I don't know if someone literally is in reckless behavior at this time, or acting recklessly in such a way that they are creating a trail of damage along their way, you know, along their path, or they've created that for themselves by way of their decision making and their actions. But here we have the Eight of Cups, which is somebody having to walk away, but what they're walking away from, oh, there's the Strength card, but that's not what's next. There's something here. Yeah, see, I don't like these energies here. And I just got so hot. This is crazy. I was doing fine. I promise you, I really was. I mean, I probably wouldn't even be sweating this much in the daytime. So I don't know if some heat flash is appropriate or significant in this moment. But anyway, yeah, like somebody's walking away and from what they've invested. Maybe the party's over and they're finding themselves like not having much, you know, to really manage not having much to show for, you know, their what choices for their advances. It's like a knight going out to conquer a territory. Okay, here we go. It's like this knight it's literally going from village to village. You know how they say like, what do they usually say about reckless knights? Like burning the village and taking the women and children or something like that. But it's more so focused on this feminine energy here than, I hope not children, Lord have mercy, but it's like a knight going from place to place, what the old folks used to say, like pillar to post, and each, because the Knight of Wands is also a traveler. So in each city, yeah, it could be that somebody bounced around a lot, moved around, traveled a lot. Maybe they had a job that they traveled for, or they just traveled for leisure, or whatever the case may be, but they moved around. And in their travels, they did more damage than they did good, is what it seems. Because if this is what the Knight of Wands is leaving in his wake, is the Eight of Swords, that's hella disempowerment, particularly of a feminine energy, or an energy that is vulnerable or left vulnerably. You know, this is not leaving a place better than what you found it. This is someone that is causing chaos wherever they go, or great despair, I would say, straight up, and just walking away like, like they have no investment there, or they have no allegiance or loyalty. Yeah, that's what this is. And here it's like the Two of Swords, the energies. Oh, okay, so maybe that's what the Strength is here for, and the Chariot as well, is that maybe someone is not able to do that anymore. They've kind of been stopped in their tracks. That's what I'm sensing. Yeah, this is somebody that's been able to shake and move a great deal and didn't really have too much loyalty or responsibility, where they didn't feel they had an obligation. Like, imagine if you're someone that moves around or travels a lot, you don't really need to, I mean, you shouldn't have this attitude, but when you leave, you gone. Eight of Cups, it's like he's off to the next pillar and the next post. You don't have any particular obligation to what you're leaving behind, particularly someone's feelings or someone's despair, or with the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords, it feels like, I don't like it. I don't like the energy now. It feels so much more intentional to cause harm now than what I originally felt. Not just somebody going around having a good time. It's like somebody going around with the intention to have a good time at the cost and casualty of others. Like, that is the good time. How many lives can I destroy or transmute in my travels, transform in my travels, and not in a good way, But anyway, it feels like where they used to have access or free range, for some reason they've kind of slowed down. With the Two of Pentacles, it's like wanting to move around or even just get away, period. But either somebody doesn't have the resources to shake and move like they used to, the energy, literally, physically, maybe even like doesn't have the same passion and drive to move like they used to move. And they may also not have the same access and welcome that they used to have. Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, these are real low cards, because with the Strength card here, it's like, if this is any indication of the energies that they are now confronting in their travels, it's like those charms don't work. It's either the charms don't work, or the places where they used to work, or the people that they used to work on familiarly are no longer are no longer susceptible to it, like no longer seduced. Yeah, it's like, nah, you didn't hit it and quit it one too many times, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not somebody breathes into a city like, hey, I'm in town, what's up, let's get together, let's have drinks, let's da-da-da-da. And it's like, nah, I'm busy this weekend, sorry. Like, you don't have one day? No. It's like feminine energy is getting hip to the game, like having their own self-control, their own temperance, their own balance, their own self-respect, taking their power back, empowering themselves to make a willful decision to say nah. Like, because this is the Chariot card here is even, willpower, where they may be tempted, it may even sound good, but it's like somebody or some folks remember the last time, how they felt, and it's like, nah, I don't want to experience that again. I don't want to feel discarded again. I don't want to feel betrayed. You know, somebody that comes into town and then they leave and they don't even call or text. You know, you don't hear from them again until they back in town, or they send you some old menial text like, hey, what's up, how you been, type, just to keep the line warm, just in case they want to come back through and hit it. And it doesn't even have to be like a distant traveler, but I just thought I usually don't zero in on that point with the Knight of Wands, so it must be significant that this could be someone that really does move around, or they get around. Also signified here in the Nine of Wands, getting around, doing a whole lot. Outside of the bounds of moderation and self-control. Which is why I was like, let me keep temperance up here, because that's a whole nother frequency. And the only reason why I'm aligning it is because I kind of want to remember this energy in case, you know, we're building off of this, unfortunately. But it really doesn't deserve to share the same space, because it's not the same frequency. It's like completely two ends of the spectrum. All right, so let's see what else we got here. So pretty much we got an F-boy that can't F around like they used to. For whatever reason, it's just not, it's either not that simple anymore or not that much fun. And I get the fact that it might be a little bit of both, but maybe because it's not that simple anymore, they're receiving a great deal of rejection in their advances than they have before. And it's probably, and it's backfiring on their self-esteem with the Nine of Wands, making somebody feel really insecure. Yeah, they trying to figure out, like, who can I call? Like, who do I know in this city, or who do I know that would be open to my antics? And it's like, the high priestess is not here for the fuckery. This is somebody chaste, that is more than likely, if not outright, what's the word, abstinent or celibate, certainly selective, at least. So that definitely connects to it. But this is somebody that's just like planted too many bad seeds, you know. And also with the Seven of Pentacles, hasn't invested enough time and energy, like real quality, there it is, quality time and energy into their relationships. You know, they've done a lot of extracting from them when it was convenient, but they haven't really invested much into it. So now it could be a point where somebody is really looking for a friend, or at least looking for some relief or distraction or something, and they're not finding it because they haven't really invested for it. They've done a lot of taking, but not a whole lot of giving. Certainly no, yeah, look at this with the Ace of Cups. I know you lying. Not somebody now wanting love, wanting to harvest love, and they ain't been doing nothing but effing around. That's funny. Now the thing is, it's like, okay, there could be a reformation of a F-boy for sure. Somebody that's mature, that's grown up, you know, sold their royal oats, so to speak, and is ready to, you know, get serious about life in some way, shape, or form, or at least be more responsible with their energy and their time. But following the Seven of Pentacles, it doesn't give me that. I mean, it gives me somebody that wants to receive somebody that would like to receive the long-term reward and benefits of love that they once rejected here at the Four of Cups. But do they really want to put in the work? Because they haven't already. They've already rejected it. So is this somebody that really wants to put in the work and dedication and devotion to procure it and to also nurture it? You know, to be in a reciprocal exchange of that. No, not with the Five of Pentacles. This is someone that doesn't have the energy to do that, even if in their mind they would like to. This is somebody that either has enough to deal with, enough despair, probably of which they created for themselves, and their lack of maturity and responsibility that they have to deal with now before they could even be taken seriously for something as precious as the Ace of Cups. That's too delicate and precious of a commodity to put in the hands of someone that has no proven track record of care, you know, or responsibility at the bare minimum. This is like I said, this is an energy that not only was careless in their carrying on, they were intentional to cause harm, or at least I feel an intention. I do. I sense that, or at least so careless that they just couldn't be concerned with what harm they may have caused in comparison to what benefit they could yield. So even if they knew that breezing into town and D'ing somebody down and leaving and not calling, or, you know, like kind of like, you know how it is, F-boy behavior, even if they knew that wouldn't be a favorable experience for whomever they inflicted upon, it didn't stop them from doing it for whatever reason they felt guided to do so, whether it was just a good time, or just because they could, or just because they knew it when they thought when they called again, somebody would be right there willing and able. Whatever it wasn't good intentions here. And so to have that energy, the Knight of Wands over the Ace of Cups, and then we got this on the bottom, Five of Pentacles, someone is a bit bankrupt in time and energy to devote to anything else, but now going back to the start of it here with the Four of Cups and figuring out where they need to pour into themselves. They're certainly not available for that exchange. Yeah, here's another ace. Because they see the value, always the coin. And see, this is, we're leading with the Temperance card. This is giving the energy of someone that really is trying to make matter from spirit, of which they are deficient. You know, it's like I said, they're trying to have the benefit with the Seven of Pentacles of that frequency, the precious matter of it, the thing that makes you feel good, makes you productive, makes you powerful, makes you, you know what it is? It's that someone figured out back here at this Four of Cups that how they were fueling and maybe even funding their ego and their self-esteem was on a source that was it was deficient, and it was what's the right word, like no, deficient feels right, like something about it wasn't organic, you know. So it's like you're having a good time, and as long as you're able to fabricate this energy of power and you know, the frequency of esteem without the responsibility and accountability of what it, that it takes to really acquire that commodity honestly. And the real work of the Seven of Pentacles is really invest in yourself to gain that commodity honorably. Somebody's realizing the true worth and value of it and wants to now skip still the investment, or to somehow, what is it that they're trying to do? Like somehow it's something fraudulent where it's like they want to, how can I say this? They're not real, they're it's almost like a bait and switch or something like that. Because the Ace of Pentacles is what they're truly after. But they know that the way to it now, they realize, is through that Ace of Cups, of which they rejected a long time ago, because that was the slow burn, the slow money. That was the way of no guarantees. Somebody wants a guaranteed return and result without having to, so somebody wants to make a withdrawal without making a deposit. It's like they want to write a blank check that ultimately is fraudulent. They want to deposit it and be able to withdraw funds of this high frequency of energy of the Ace of Pentacles on a fraudulent exchange. Like they're not really willing to give what it would take. They're not really willing to work for this reward, work for this advancement. They just want to pretty much be able to like heist it, or like what do you call it? Like I don't even know the words I'm trying to find, but I think you might feel me on what I'm trying to say here. It's like when you have somebody when you write a check, right? Because it's funny, because I actually saw something like this on the People's Court on YouTube. I was watching a clip, and this girl had her friend deposit a check into her account because whatever reason she didn't have a bank account, or maybe she just didn't want it traced to her, right? So she had this friend deposit the check, and she was supposed to withdraw the funds and give it to her, but lo and behold, the check was stolen. It was fraudulent, and it was not issued to her, it didn't belong to her, and of course it was tracked to the girl's account, who was silly enough to deposit it, and she was suing for what was charged to her for that check being drawn and all of that. So it's something along those lines where it's like somebody's trying to write a check onto an account that they have no access to and trying to withdraw funds. It's like the tender is fraudulent. Like the spirit is fraudulent. The spirit is not authorized to make a withdrawal from this account at all, but certainly not of this high amount, of this exuberance, because they haven't, here's the point of deposit, they haven't even deposited or worked enough to have authorization to have access to this level of funds, this level of energy. So I don't know how that gets to look, if you feel what I'm putting down, it's like, yeah, it's fraudulent activity here. So once again, it just doubles down on what I said, that somebody has not matured, and it's not a matter of someone wanting to put in the work or being committed to what it takes to cultivate that level of access and authority, and to truly be in the position to manage it properly, you know, honorably even. They just want it. They just want the luxury of it. And what do we call those types of people? But frauds. Yeah, here they go. Here you go right here, Four of Pentacles. Even feeling entitled to it, or definitely being very insistent on maintaining some type of control over it, or possession. That's what it is. Like entitled to the possession of it. But how? How can you feel like you're entitled to the possession of something that is not authorized? You're not authorized to access. You haven't made any deposits into, only withdrawals over and over again, and then like shocked that it's overdrawn at this point in time. And you have no intention, even if we could even consider maybe this was a credit situation or a loan, or, you know, you have no intentions of replenishing or repaying, and you don't even have the resources at this time because the character is not here. You know, it's like somebody with really poor spiritual credit that's trying to get a loan or a credit line, of which they know they have no intentions on ever paying back. And they're going to take the money and do something probably reckless again with. Which is why, you know, credit exists as it does, because it's a fair report of your history of what you do with material when you have it, how trustworthy you are. Okay, so this is somebody with poor spiritual credit, and they steady trying to increase their credit line with no collateral. And this could even be actual, and the spirit is just what I'm picking up, because the Five of Pentacles did show up. Somebody's got way more liabilities than they have. Yeah, and trying to get away with something, trying to move ahead, you know, find their way back to. But it's like they're trying to do it like a thief in the night, though, like trying to steal away back into this energy of abundance and peace, like literally trying to get away with the goods is what I'm feeling in this energy here. It's like he's jumping in a boat that he don't even belong in, you know, acting like he's just, you know, just working to get him, you know, a willing servant. Yeah, it's something shady here. And it's speaking to the energy of F-boys trying to present themselves as reformed, to align themselves with energies of feminines, particularly that they see high value in, that they know they can yield a great benefit from, because that's what love energy does. It enhances everything. It is the source of abundance. And so now somebody's trying to like spin the block on relationships that they may have fumbled or completely destroyed or disregarded. And it's given a little thirsty, if you ask me, especially with the Ace of Cups here, because it's like they're not really welcomed in any of the spaces that they are trying to infiltrate or trying to, you know, make themselves relevant in. But it won't stop them from trying, but not for the sheer advancement toward the love itself, of which they recognize as the commodity. No, to bypass that, to get straight to the reward and the benefit, which makes it even more skeevy than when somebody was just, pillaging every village they step foot in, because now it's somebody like he's like behind their backs here with the Six of Swords, trying to pretend again like they're here to serve. I'm just going to get you across the water safely. Y'all just sit still. I got you. That's somebody that come acting like they want to be a help or support or, to add value to your life. But whole time, they're just looking for ways to come up off of you, mess around and leave you with ruined credit themselves, yourself, ruined credit, empty promises, highly disappointed, disempowered, all type. No, hell no. Look, with the eye on the prize, this is the eye on the prize here, the Ten of Pentacles. But not the Ten of Cups, the spiritual exuberance and fulfillment. It's just the benefit, again, the materialization of codependency, ultimately, is what it comes down to. It's codependency. Seeing what you can get out of a situation because what? Somebody doesn't really want to do that work on their own. They rather to appear to look like an equal partner, a balanced partner, a fair, with fair intentions, but they don't, it doesn't feel real. I'm sorry, like it doesn't feel real. Exactly. It doesn't feel real because it's not. Somebody's so distorted in their own spiritual energy that they couldn't be, like I said, this is somebody that's not emotionally available. And perhaps not even because they don't want to be, because some folks at this point haven't realized the error of their ways, that hasn't yielded them much, may truly be inspired to want something different. But it doesn't mean that, you could want a new car, but if you walk into that dealership and your credit sucks, your choices are limited at that point. You're either going to have a loan with extremely high interest rates, or you may not have much of a choice at all of anything. Certainly not of what you want, and it's like somebody's created a great deal of spiritual, maybe even karmic, that's what it is. That's why I'm saying their spiritual credit score is low. Somebody's created a great deal of karmic debt that they want to be able to kind of deflect in another relational dynamic if they can, particularly emotionally. And by deflect, like I said, that could mean somebody's dug themselves into so much of a hole that they they literally are codependent on outside support, maybe to even survive at this point. They owe so many, they burned so many bridges, they run up so many bills, they've acquired so many liabilities, they've done a lot. It could range from spiritual to physical or material, and it probably is both. If it's spiritual, it's probably most certainly material in some way, shape, or form, which means somebody could even have a whole lot of stuff, but everything's underwater. That the mortgage is behind, the car note is past due, ain't paid insurance, and in 2 months, almost about to default. Every credit card is maxed out. It's like, imagine aligning yourself with that level of credit with someone that didn't just have like a tough break in life. Because let me be the first to say that I got some work to do in terms of like actual credit. But my spiritual credit rating is through the motherfucking roof. Okay? A1. But which is why, you know, I already have my plan in place, you know, but this is somebody that, like I said, has no intention to be responsible on in their own accord. They just want to deflect and relieve themselves through others' good credit, others' assets, and what do you call it? Accounts and things like the fortune and other people's fortune. That's what it is. Man, look at this. Yeah, this guy, the emperor, just a egotistical madman. Ain't nothing worse. An emperor and the Five of Cups energy, you can't even control yourself, but this is somebody that would probably overtly eventually, but covertly try to control everything that you got going on, but in a way that, like, you know, controls it to redirect it in their favor. Somebody's not in the it's got fraud, or what do you call it, romance scammer written all over it. May even try to marry you with that Emperor card. Yeah, like exactly what I'm saying. Whole time it's an aggressive maneuver with this Knight of Swords. May even give you the whole, you know, woe is me speech or energy, like play on your heartstrings for sympathy and or even empathy, because you may even be able to relate to a time when you may have, you know, had less, you know, your fortune wasn't all that great. But exactly, they see the prize. They see the prize, they see the opportunity. Nine of Cups. Don't you trust it. Let me just get one more because I'm sweating too much. I was going to do a couple more on the bottom, but the incense is burning out anyway. Well, burnt out at this point, and so is this person, burnt out. Look at this. And escaping, like I said, a great deal of conflict, confusion, chaos. They got so much baggage in tow, and they would be willing to bring it all to you, all to your doorstep if you let them. See, when they were footloose and fancy free, they didn't mind creating turmoil and baggage for other people in their wake, because they could just pick up and move on. But somebody's a little bit more disabled in this time to be able to move around like they usually can and create different ideal scenarios for themselves for their personal benefit and gratification. They can't really do that. So it feels like somebody looking more for the long con now. Where can I put in the long-term investment for the greatest return? Like really the long, it's called the long con, right? Do I have that right? Yeah, because they was bouncing, moving around. Like, done with this one, on to the next. Done with this one, maybe I'll double back. If somebody's silly enough, I'll go back for a round 2 or 3. But if not, oh well, I'll move to the next one. But somebody's realizing the long-term investment is the big heist. That's what this is, a long con for a greater return. And if they can bring all this chaos and confusion and disable someone into an Eight of Swords energy, that would ultimately give them access to all these commodities and resources and assets that someone possesses a great exuberance of, for them to ultimately skate off with. And then hopefully, you know, that's the end of the little short one-off jobs, you know, that they've been pulling, and they feel like they could actually, you know, this is like retirement money here. With the Ace of Cups to the Ace of Pentacles, that's something that, you know, a nice little nest egg that you can sit on. That's what somebody's idolizing here. Ace of Swords, okay. Okay. So somebody coming around with a sob story, or even looking like the knight in shining armor, and you, it's like, trust your gut. That's all I can say at this point. The Temperance energy means that you got hella access to high-minded thinking, and also even like intuitive support, you know, and protection also. That if you are tapped in enough to, like I said, like how with that Two of Swords, how certain energies are like, nah, I've seen this show before, I'm not tuning in this time. If it's that type of energy where it feels familiar but not in any of the right ways, that's a sure sign to give yourself distance, to allow someone to ultimately show their true colors, or show, you know, the face behind that mask, and or for you to do your due diligence and research yourself, because that's a thing as well. Either way, if there's any tingling sensation of irregularity within you, something just don't feel right, seem right, sound right, look right, pump your brakes, because the last thing you want to do is allow someone in your energy that has all the poorest intentions in the world, and then ultimately connects with you or intertwines with you in a way that your personal affairs and assets, like consider this the People's Court story I'm talking about, where someone could have access to your personal accounts, your even your home, the things you cherish most, your children, your family, you know, the things that are sacred to you. Guard that like your life depends on it at this time, because there are prowlers out that are looking for a come up in ways that they've ultimately depleted themselves, and they don't want to do the work. They don't want to get it the honest way, you know, an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. They want to make it quick and fast and in a hurry, and don't really care about the casualties, cost, or loss to do so. Yeah, and here you are. What's that? Yeah, the King of Cups. Moving on. Beyond. Don't be glamored by the seduction of love embodied, you know, incarnate. It's because if it can't prove itself with time and exhibition to be that, with patience, consideration, and self-control from your perspective, to allow someone that may say or project that they have a great deal of love for you to actually show and prove it, then you just keep on your path to success, because they can't keep up with you where you're going, and that's a sure telltale sign that they don't they don't deserve to keep up, or they're not aligned to keep up with you in this season anyway. If somebody can't keep up with how you moving and where you're going, aligned with your energy, match your frequency, 9 times out of 10 is because they don't have access or authority to operate on that frequency. Leave them right where they at, and they can catch up as they will if they want to, but not a moment too soon. from when it's honest and organic. Anything that's supposed to be with you side by side is able to match your stride in spirit and in truth. So, until then, you just keep on trucking. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I'll leave you with